How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Hopefully everyone is having a lovely day. Now, T Higgins, he's been the center of attention these past couple of days, past couple of weeks, as far as contract extensions are concerned regarding the Bengals. Heard some rumors, didn't really stick to me, didn't really pay too much attention to it. It's an interesting time of the year. I think, it's offseason, the draft's coming up. We're looking for things to talk about. We're looking at things to speculate about or create rumors about, and it just happens. That's how it's going to be in football, in any sport, because we love the sport. We love enjoying it. We want the news and we want something to talk about. But, I mean, you look around the league, there's just not a lot of players that are on their final year of their deal that sign this time of the year. There are a lot of big names out there that need to sign. And when does a T Higgins contract come up? I'm not sure. I really trying to remind people, just like, be patient. Don't get too worried if it doesn't get done during the next month or two or three. It's not a big deal. It'll either get done or it won't, but it's not going to, create cracks or holes in a foundation. It's just typically just the way it works out. I mean, AJ Green, Bengals signed him in September. Andy Dalton, they signed him in August. So from a Bengals standpoint, from their top draft picks in the past, it's been a pattern. I know it's been, it's a long time ago now, but it's a pattern that they do wait until later. And it, as an owner, as a management team, or an organization, it makes sense to wait longer because of the risk of injury in the offseason. You don't want to, take that on just in case. And meanwhile, the player, it's the exact opposite. Like, let's sign right now. I'm going to hold out on these practices. I don't want to get it or take a chance of getting hurt and hurting my value. So it's a kind of a game of cat and mouse there. Nonetheless, I think it'd be great to talk a little T Higgins contract. Let's speculate a little bit. I mean, this is a guy that 908 receiving yards his rookie year, 1,000 plus the last 2 seasons. He's been a very good wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. And if it wasn't for Jamar Chase being on this football team, he would be the number one. And if it wasn't for Jamar Chase on this football team, I believe he is easily a 1,300 plus receiver on this football team, if he's their number one, standalone number one. And I do believe he's a number one on a lot of teams in this league. There's very few teams he wouldn't be a number one on, I think. Looking at his statistics from a yards per game standpoint, surprisingly in 2023, his yards per game ranked 25th in the league. 2022, it ranked 7th in the league, though, 77.9 yards per game. Had a great season. If you remember, at 2021, he kind of tore it up in the second half there for the Bengals as well. But it's an interesting thing. I was really surprised when I seen that, because I guess you put the goggles on as a Bengals fan. You gotta look past the bias there and saying, man, I just thought easy. This guy's easily going to get top 10 money. I thought, 27 million plus, but I don't know if we see that. I think you look at the Cooper Kupps, the Devontae Adams, the Tyreek Hills, those guys up there, 27 to 30 million are making right now, and deservedly so. But then you look down the list a little bit, you say, well, DJ Moore's making 20 million a year. McLaurin's making 22, 23. AJ Brown's making 25. I think it's easy to say as a Bengals fan, and I do believe it, he's better than DJ Moore. I think he's, arguably better than Terry McLaurin. McLaurin can be pretty good. We don't know what McLaurin's really got because he ain't got a quarterback, but he's been impressive. AJ Brown really went off last season, but before that contract, again, very impressive. Before going to Phillies, a lot more impressive when he got to Philly with a better quarterback. We've seen what he was capable of doing, and you wonder, do you say, is that where we put T Higgins? Do we put him right around the AJ Brown range? Because I think you do. I think you look at it, this is a guy that grows and can be a better player. But at the same time, I don't know. It's difficult because the Bengals are going to play a statistically different game after that season he just had and saying, hey, it's a pass-happy league and you didn't put up 1,200, 1,300 yards. Yeah, there was a couple of injury woes, whatever. That's all part of the negotiation process. And as the Bengals, you don't want to disrespect this guy because you want to keep him around. And if you're T Higgins, I would hope you want to be around, but you also want to maximize your worth. So there's going to be an interesting settlement here between these two teams. I still think, and this is important because the salary cap goes up every single year, even if we were to say T Higgins is an AJ Brown comp, his contract last year, 2 years ago, whatever it was, he's going to get paid more than AJ Brown because the salary cap went up. That's just how it works. Where, a guy signed a contract 3, and that's how we see, was it Kirk Cousins the one year? Kirk Cousins was like the highest paid quarterback in the league at one point in time. But I mean, it was close to it. Was he close to it? Was that deserving of it? Maybe, maybe not. But at the same time, it's like a lot of the, the elites, they get locked down for years on years on years. So it's like, well, a contract 4 or 5 years ago, 44 million was a lot more 4 or 5 years ago than it is now. And that's how we see, you'd think T Higgins, if he's 25 million last year, he would be 26 million this year, 27 million this year. So we're going to see there. I think the Bengals are going to give this guy, he's going to get 4 years. I think he gets 4 years. I think we're sitting right around 25 million. I do. I think 25 is going to be it. I think 25 to 27 would not be a surprise. I think this is got a big part of why the Bengals rumors are talking about cutting Joe Mixon or asking for a pay cut. It's because, hey, you say, let's get T Higgins or let's get Joe Burrow. You front load their contract a little bit. So this year their cap hit goes up a little bit. So their cap hit's a little lower down the road. Whether that be with Burrow, whether that be with Higgins. And I think that's what we see happen here is we see a kind of front-loaded contract for a guy like T. Higgins. It might work better with Higgins than Burrow. I'd probably work better with Burrow than Higgins. But I think that's what we see happen is, maybe that first couple years, he gets a little bit more guaranteed money, helps, finagle the salary cap a little bit. Later in his career, kind of balances out, lower the cap hit overall in general. And overall, I think a deal gets done. I think T. Higgins is in a great position here. I think he likes being here. I think the Bengals clearly want this guy. You watch the way they make their free agent moves. They weren't overspending. I mean, if they didn't have an intention of trying to keep this group around, you're signing Jesse Bates easily. You're throwing the money, whatever Von Bell wants, and you got to take it. Guys like that mix it at 10 million. It's not a big deal. We're not worried about anything. They're not worried about cutting cap. They're not worried about saving money if there's not a very big intention of signing these guys. So I think you ignore the noise. And you got to believe T. Higgins is going to be a part of this football team for time to come. Love you guys' thoughts and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.